He can sum up the ideal date in one word: Applebee's. One night he thought he saw a UFO, but it turned out to be a helicopter. His favorite kind of cheese is cottage. He is the least interesting man in the world. I don't always drink beer, but when I do, what's the name of that one I like?
The Morning Show with Mr. G and Paul Stone. The talk of the Treasure Coast. 1590 WPSL.
You know, speaking of beer, you can order things like, what is it, Hager Bombs? Is that what they call that?
Jaeger bomb?
Jaeger Bombs until you're 25. That's where you drop a shot of, you drop it with the Jaeger and the Red Bull and chug it, I guess. Mike, you know about this?
All too well.
Okay. After that, it starts feeling a little too unrefined. Luckily, Starbucks has you covered. They've just debuted a new drink this month called Expresso Cloud Ipa. Now, it's a beer with a shot of espresso in it. What do you think, Mike? What do you think?
Where can I get that? Right now. I want one.
Starbucks has been selling beer and wine at some locations for about 2 years as part of their Starbucks evening menu, Mike. And they've had coffee-flavored beer for a while, but apparently this is the first time they've combined the two. Now, you don't actually drop the shot in like you do with the bomb thing there and the Boilermaker. They take an IPA, pour a chilled shot of orange and vanilla-flavored espresso in it, top it with froth like a cappuccino or something like that. And it's not clear how much it costs, and most Starbucks still don't have the evening menu thing going yet. But if you feel like paying way too much for coffee mixed with beer, you can go to their website and find the closest store that's selling it. Now, here's I think we've got someone from Starbucks talking about it. Check this out. Yeah, there it is.
This is really exciting because, first of all, something like this has never been created for Starbucks, and it just blows my mind. It's so exciting. My name is Justin Burns-Beach. I am working on the research and development team. Prior to working on the R&D team, I was at the roastery, and that helped me build the Expresso Cloud IPA. I used the shakers to shake our espresso, and after I shook the espresso, mainly what I wanted was the foam to put on top to give that head on the beer. And I didn't want to waste the espresso. That's when I decided to just pour it into the shot glass and then have them both side by side, and then it's like, oh, what happens if you just pour it in a little bit? And seeing the effect of that was just mind-blowing. The visual of it, watching another cloud develop, was really exciting. As soon as I was able to tell my parents, I immediately called them and I was like, Mom, I have a beverage that's launching, and it's just really fulfilling to have that dream come true.
Well, I'm looking at a picture of it, and it does look nice. I mean,
Doesn't this seem like the most hipster thing ever? I mean, my grandfather would go to a bar, cigarette smoke all over the place. He'd order a Boilermaker, which is a beer, a lager with a shot of whiskey.
There you go.
Or bourbon, right? And you're sitting there, you're drinking it like a man.
Yeah.
Nowadays, you go out, you're not going to the smoky bar, you're going to a coffee shop and give me an IPA and a shot of espresso.
Everybody's sitting around
please.
with MacBook Pros and, you know.
This is appealing to the ladies.
I need to make sure I keep it out of my beard.
It's appealing to the ladies and the classy gentlemen that want to stay out of the bar, you see.
Well, here, let's see what our most interesting man thinks about this.
If you opened his desk drawer, you'd find flossers. He knows origami. Okay, he doesn't. He went to Sprouts once. Not impressed. He is the least interesting man in the world. I don't always drink beer, but when I do, come to think of it, I can't even remember the last time I had a beer.
Yeah, there you go. All right. This next story, and Cliff just handed me a note. Irish coffee light. That's what you like? That's your favorite? That's I guess. In your beer?
No, that's the coffee beer.
Oh, that's the coffee beer. Irish coffee light. Okay. All right.
So I guess it's some type of Irish cream.
Yeah, I guess so.
Irish cream sounds good. That sounds very good and rich and creamy and sweet.
You know, I don't know where I was when this happened, whereas it says 75% of women want to pick out their own engagement ring. I thought it was always 100%. I mean, I guess
no, I think the women want ideally, they want the guy to pick out the engagement ring as long as it's the right one.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Now, what if he picks out the wrong one? Then what happens?
Do you know how stressful it is as a guy to go and pick out an engagement ring without your potential significant other?
Now, did you and Amber go together?
No.
You picked it out yourself?
I picked it out myself.
And you think she likes it just because she said so? Now, see, that's what I'm saying.
Well,
I mean,
you see,
what did you expect her to say? You spent all this money on a dime, and you actually think the woman is going to go, oh, honey, I don't like it. I mean, you don't want to hurt your feelings.
I'm already filled with crippling doubt here, G. You don't need to help him out.
I mean,
help it out at all.
Here's the deal. There was a survey this week about the top 10 ways guys mess up marriage proposals. Now, here's how they can get it right. And the good news is you might not even have to worry about picking out the ring. The survey talked to 2,000 single women, Bonnie. 75% of them said they'd rather pick out the ring themselves. I agree with that. But no, not by themselves. I want to be with them. Or, it doesn't even matter. Go shopping for the ring, put it on, give it to the guy, and I'll come in and I'll pay for it. I don't even need to see it.
See, the 25% of the ladies that are considering that their man can pick out the ring for them, I would be considering that my man should already know my tastes and standards already. Therefore, I would trust him to go to that jeweler and pick out the perfect ring. By the size of my hand, my guy would know if I wanted something big and gaudy, or if I wasn't into that, something small and dainty.
How about zirconium, whatchamacallums?
Oh, I
Wait a minute.
have some
Now
friends at my old job, and the wife, her name was Jennifer, and she said, look, I don't care. I know that we can't afford the real thing, but I want a big, gaudy ring.
Yeah,
I want this thing to be massive. So get the fake thing, because I don't want you to spend 10 grand on a ring that we don't have that much money. Get the cheap stuff.
Mike, I like
and I want a big flashy ring.
I'd like that. Whether it's real or not, I don't want this little tiny little chip that you can't even hardly see, and the setting is bigger than the chip. I mean, come on, give me. I want to see it. Well,
yeah, no,
I'm thinking. Hey,
it was a massive ring.
It
really was.
This survey, it talked to 2,000 women. 75% said they'd rather pick out the ring themselves. So guys should either use a stand-in or no ring at all. Here are the 5 more stats that are more interesting. A third of women who wanted to pick out their own ring said it was because the guy would totally botch it and would buy something they hated. And they probably would never get around to telling him that they didn't like it.
No, I would trust my guy to pick out the right one.
And if he didn't?
I would say
no.
Bring it back and let's replace it and bring me along next time.
95% of women say they want a diamond. Only 5% say they want something else, like a ruby or an emerald. And the average woman...
It's got to be a diamond.
Well, the average woman expects you to spend just over $1,200 on it. That's average, I think, Mike.
Or maybe the woman that wants a ruby already has seriously many diamonds. Maybe she was married 7 times before.
So maybe diamond is passe. I don't want no stinking diamond. I already had 12 of them.
Yeah, give me something different like the sapphire or the ruby.
How about I give you a string, a wedding string? Just tie a string around your finger. That's kind of new. It's hip.
I saw a guy make a ring out of a $1 bill one time, and then he put the ring on a lady's finger.
Did she say no? No, she probably said yes.
Can you at least make it a C note?
Well, yeah, a $100 ring. I mean, come on now. I guess about the ideal amount of time you should date before you propose is 25 months or just over 2 years.
That's about right.
I would agree with that, too.
Because by then, you've had every argument that you could possibly have, and they started back over again. So if you got through it the first time, you'll get through it again. So,
yeah, don't be like some people and rush into it just after 3 months of knowing one another.
Because it's always new then. Neither one of you can do anything bad at that stage.
Yeah.
You never want to propose at that stage. Everything is perfect, and it's wonderful, and it's lovely.
The extreme high and the lust.
Alfalfa.
It's all about lust at first.
He's so romantical. You know what? It reminds me of that Darla and
Darla.
Alfalfa. I think I got a scene.
She was so darling.
Here, check this out.
So playful. Forgive my effrontery, but you, miss, are a rare rose in a garden of weeds. You have the sophistication of a woman of 12. My name is Waldo Aloysius Johnston III. I'm Alfalfa. Yes, I'm sure you are. And I'm Darla. We just moved into town. My father bought the oil refinery. That explains why you're so refined. Yeah, and so oily. Watch it, bud. I hope to see you again soon.
That could be arranged. I'll be appearing in the talent show coming up. Yeah, the two of us will both be singing a duet together.
How redundant.
Thank you.
Well, I shall be going now.
Alfalfa. He's so romantical.
He had me when he said, "You look like a rose in a garden of weeds."
Isn't that something?
He had me on that line.
We might want to write some of these lines down. Boy, I tell you. Oh, Cliff just handed me another note. Oh, here we go. Cliff says, my grandmother said, always marry a girl with small hands. It makes the diamond look bigger.
Uh-huh.
And on that note, take a look at some Treasure Coast news. It's 8:27.
Mike, thanks a lot. And I just received an email from you showing me this Pittsburgh Steelers suit.
Yeah.
I'm putting it up to the camera. Can you see that? Is that a good shot of it, Cliff? More on the camera?
It is a thing of beauty, I'm telling you right now.
Is that a good shot there? Now, Mike, you see this, Bonnie? This is a Pittsburgh Steelers suit. Now, would you wear that, Mike?
Absolutely.
Look at it. It's got the tie, the jacket, the pants. Get out of here.
I would wear that to the draft house. I would wear that to a football game. I would wear that to a fancy dinner at Peter's Steakhouse.
Dude, that is just, it is a real dress suit, and the whole print of the jacket is Pittsburgh Steelers stuff. It's got the bumblebee action going and everything.
It's a slim fit suit, too, man.
Yeah,
it's
it
looking
is.
sharp.
Got the slim tie going. Mike!
Yeah.
Mike, you should be able to wear it to all three events that you mentioned.
How much do they want for it?
The jacket's $100.
That's all?
It's not bad, is it?
What is it made
must
out
be
of?
cheap.
It's only $100. All right, so all right, we can see Mike in that. All right, let's see if we can work a deal with Amazon or something.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Got to get that suit for Mike. And plus, we're putting together, like we did last year over at the St. Lucie Draft House, Mike. We're going to be doing that when Paul gets back from vacation. We're going to be getting all the Pick'em League people together, and we're going to meet over there. And for anybody that wants to come, it's going to be open to everybody. So hopefully we'll have that suit by then. We'll work on it.
I'm looking forward to it.
We'll work on it. The morning show, it's Bonnie, can we do a traffic here?
Oh, yes,
Right
a quick.
Okay, here, let me give you a quick traffic sounder.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Kitchen Depot brings us the traffic. Need cabinets? Where to go? Try Kitchen Depot. We are seeing one accident. St. Lucie County, I-95 southbound at mile marker 121 in Port St. Lucie. Not seeing any roadblock there. Martin County, too, we see an accident at Alapata Road. This is right by Martin Correctional. If you see traffic, call us at 340-1590 at WPSL.
Right on, baby. When we continue, the 5 cities where having a roommate saves you the most money. I guess a new study looked at the 50 biggest cities in America and how much money you'd save by renting an apartment with a roommate instead of living alone. I kind of like living alone, but hey, we'll spread that word for you when we continue. Yeah, baby. Uh-oh. What can that mean?
Stardate 613213684. You're hearing The Morning Show. Something's wrong with my crew. The attitudes have changed, but the faces stay the same. 1590 WPSL. It's the talk of the Treasure Coast.
And I think that means it's time for Randy Siegel and today's Space Report. Good morning, Randy.
Good morning, sir. Well, the Russians yesterday detached their Progress MS-02 from the International Space Station, and it's now in the ocean, in the Pacific Ocean, whatever's left of it from burning up in the Earth's atmosphere, as they get ready to bring on the next manned space flight going to the space station coming up next week. Actually, it'll be on the 19th. But over the weekend, we're going to see a couple of space launches. Yep, your favorite, the Toikonauts.
I love that. I just learned that yesterday.
Yep, they'll be launched on Sunday, headed for the Shenzhou 11 or the Shenzhou 2 spacecraft. They'll be launched on the Tiangong 2 is the space station, and the Shenzhou 11 is the spacecraft that they'll be launched in. That'll take place on Sunday. And then hopefully the Antares will make its re-entry into flight also on Sunday, heading to the International Space Station with its Cygnus cargo spacecraft. We also learned that Gwen Gwen Shotwell, who is the president of SpaceX, has said that they do believe they've zeroed in on exactly what caused the large breach in the helium system on the second stage of the Falcon 9 rocket, and they should be ready for space flight now in the middle of November. We've also found out that the Strato launch spacecraft, that's Paul Allen's spacecraft, will now use a Pegasus XL rocket from under the wings of Orbital ATK's large aircraft to launch satellites into space. They will use multiple Pegasus spacecrafts, 3 of them that'll be mounted on the belly of the spacecraft and put satellites into orbit. And then we're going to also see during the weekend, or the early part of the week, the European Space Agency and Russia's ExoMars spacecraft. They will separate the Schiaparelli spacecraft from the main body, and Schiaparelli will take a separate course on Sunday, leading up to the separation 3 days later of landing the Schiaparelli on Mars, where it will then go its separate way and actually start roving on the red planet. They will then have a spacecraft on the red planet and one that will be orbiting the red planet, getting as much information as humanly possible. Jeff Bezos has announced that the spacecraft that he has been using as a test vehicle on top of their Blue Origin spacecraft is being retired. After each of their flights, they stencil in a turtle, if you can believe that, and the last turtle has been stenciled in as they're retiring the main capsule that he has been using. Thomas Pasqua, a European Space Agency astronaut, who, along with Peggy Whitson and Oleg Novitsky, have passed their final exams. They will launch in November to go to the International Space Station. Lastly, we want to tell you that NASA studies from the Cassini spacecraft have indicated that one of the moons, another one of the moons, Diane, that orbits Saturn, is believed to have a deep ocean underneath its crusty, icy surface. This again bodes well for potential life that could exist in the bottom of those oceans. On Monday, we're going to tell you about commercial space station modules that would exist with the ISS, along with the weekend launches. So until then, have a great day, everybody.
You better believe we will, and have a great weekend too, Randy. Randy Siegel, our space case. You called him the spaceman yesterday, Bob.
The spaceman.
Yeah.
And possibly from Jupiter.
8:48, the Blended Morning Show. And now from Studio STU, let's talk high school football with Mike Stone. Oh, wait a minute, with Paul Stone.
How dare you?
Mike Thomas. That's the second time I've done that this week.
You'll have it right by Monday, G.
I've combined both names together there.
I know.
Can you believe that? Okay, Mike. Sorry, Bubba.
Week 7 of the high school football season starts tonight, and this one has a ton of big district matchups with the playoffs on the line. Martin County can really put a stranglehold on their district. The only problem is they have to face 2015 state runner-up Viera. Meanwhile, South Fork needs a win against Melbourne tonight to keep their thin playoff hopes alive. Treasure Coast can really basically clinch their district, but they've got to go on the road and take on state powerhouse Vero Beach. Meanwhile, Jensen Beach is at Oak Alley. Tonight on the radio, though, we've got Westwood hosting Suncoast. We'll be broadcasting live from Lawnwood Stadium in Fort Pierce. Now, Westwood needs a win to prevent Suncoast from clinching the division. Coverage starts at 6:45, and kickoff is at 7 o'clock tonight on both WPSL and WSTU.
Right on. That's Mike Thomas, and I'm Seymour Butts. You didn't get that, Bonnie?
Taking a look at your Treasure Coast news. Price gouging complaints poured into the state attorney's office over the past week.
Well, that's going to do it for us, Mike. It's been a gas, and we'll do it all again Monday, baby. How about that?
Sounds like a plan. Have a great weekend, guys.
Enjoy your weekend, Bonnie.
Whether you're working or partying, make it an amazing weekend, guys.
For WPSL Port St. Lucie, your CBS News is next, followed by Cliff and Swap Shop. We'll talk to you Monday with another blended show right here. WPSL Port St. Lucie and WSTU Stuart.